Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we'll be going through the last team preview for the 2023-24 BBL SuperCoach season, in which that is the Sydney Thunder after we did the Sydney Sixers yesterday, and we seem to be getting more and more, knowledge and insight into what the plan's going to be with trades, etc., how we're going to set it up. There's even a plan now, and this will be tomorrow's video, is the change in the who I'm going to actually select for my starter team. You'll see that I'll probably record it right after this one, but upload it on the Saturday so that you guys have content then. And just the change in which we go there, because I think setting up and going for one less Brisbane player can actually benefit you in the long run, as you'll be able to realize, or at least I'll be able to realize more cash off the bench in that trade boost that I plan to do still round one. As it will be another player that still plays one game in round 2, but in round 3 and so on plays multiple games, and that will really just help with cash generation, I think, as well as just getting the scores, because he's an absolute gun. But before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the review, or the preview, I guess. So first up, you have Daniel Sams, and I should probably make this bigger as I've been messing around with it a little bit. Let's do that. Does that work? That's a little bit too big, actually. There we go. That was, I think, the size that we were running with. Daniel Sams, 162k. We look down here. Doesn't play the double till round 4, and then plays a double round 9. So definitely round 9 we'll look to get him in. I don't know if we'll look to actually get him in round 4, just because it's like trading in a double and then trading him out 2 weeks later because he misses. We'll see depending on that. But that's certainly something to weigh up, whether he's actually valuable to trade in after this into this double, or whether it's valuable to trade into, I don't know if other teams play that double, but or whether or not it's still valuable to trade Sydney Thunder guys in on round 4. I forget who plays the double with them, but I'm pretty sure there is someone that plays the double that week. If we actually just do this, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna allow me to do that and figure out who is playing the double that week, but I guess moving on, it's that one. There we go. So next up, Nathan McAndrew has been bowling pretty well in the Shield, but these guys only play one game in the first round, so not going to be useful there. And that's why you can see, Daniel Sams is still 22% owned for a guy that has only one fixture, and at 162k, I don't really understand why he's so highly owned. I guess that's just because he's Daniel Sams and has shown in the past he can do it. McAndrew, I don't really like too much. We can see last year 51.6 average for a 516 with just 13 wickets. And he does have a pretty, he's got Brisbane Heat in round 1 in one of his better sides. He plays really well against Perth. But in that, I don't think I'll probably ever go for him, just because I think there'll be better players. Next up, Cam Bancroft, and if he isn't playing for Australia, this could be an option in rounds 4. And I guess this will be his first games actually against Perth. But I think he could be an option in the multi-game weeks, but he isn't the greatest scorer just because he doesn't really score that quickly. If we look at the 2022 stats, you'll see 459 and only had 70 strike rate bonus, which is all right, but not the greatest. He did score, you can see whenever he did score above the, what was his actual average? In 9 games, 51 average, not the worst. 8 games, 31 the year before that. And you can just see here, no real strike rate bonus here, especially a 24 and a 25 without one, and a 30 without one as well. So I don't know whether those were split up through 2 games, those splits, but it surely shows that he's not going to be getting that much strike rate bonuses, as you can see here as well. And then the year before that as well, he doesn't get the greatest strike rate bonus addition, so I don't think he'd be the one. Chris Green's an interesting one at 157k, could be useful, but I guess we get a look at a lot of these guys before we actually pounce on them. So Chris Green could be interesting at 157.6, and I'm pretty sure he might have, I don't think he does have commitments outside of the BBL, so I think he's there for the whole season. I think he might have even been named Did he get named? He might have even been named captain of the Thunder, which would entail that he's going to be there the whole time. 50.9 and 712 last year at 50.9 is a huge number, 11th best in the comp, and it was just 12 wickets and a huge economy rate bonus and 10 catches and 2 run out, and the year before that he dropped 452 in 11 games at 41, so 10 difference there. In average 558 at 39, so I think last year was just a little bit of a tick up season for him just because he had a huge economy rate bonus. Don't know if he'll be able to replicate that, and we saw it in 2018-19, but that was because more so he had 80 odd runs more with the bat. So, and then we go to 2016-17, 410 at 51.2, which is pretty decent. Huge economy rate bonus given that it was like, 8 games, so almost 10 economy rate bonus a game. And provided, I guess, 40 with the bat, and that's like, but then also that's like, that's only, 7 wickets or something? So 7 wickets, that's 35 points, and 35 points in 8 games is almost 4 and a bit a game that he actually averaged worse with the new scoring methods, which would put him down at about 46. So I think he does, I think he will sort of score around that 45 to 50, which will be interesting in the doubles, but outside of the doubles, I wouldn't probably be picking him. And in the doubles, he's got the pretty decent matchup here. And then in this double, I probably wouldn't be picking him. Next up, Hutcher. He's been bowling all right in the state comp, but it just doesn't look the greatest for him. Coming over from the Stars, he should get some good game time. And I mean, but at 144, I don't know necessarily if he's the one. Averaged 46 last year. The year before that didn't play. The year before that averaged 45. The year before that didn't play, and the year before that didn't play. And did he play in this year? Nope. So he's only really played 2 years and averaged about 45 across those 2. So I don't know if he's necessarily an option in those 2 rounds that we're really going to look at them, because you really have to be scoring well to pique interest in this round 4 double, because you've got this round 6 bye, and then in the last round he could just be the best player available that plays a double, because you want to stack the doubles. Then you've got Gurinder Sandhu here, and Gurinder, if it wants to actually load, because I don't want to have to show my side, if it wants to load. So back again after that slight delay here. We have, it's actually loading, Gurinder Sandhu, and do I think he's going to be that valuable? I personally don't think so, because he is priced currently at 141k and 45 last year, and the season, well, that's that season. The season before that, 51. Season before that, 22 in 3 games though, and the season before that, 25, and the season before that, 34, and the first season that they have here on is he got 3 as an average. So really, I don't see there being much upside with Gurinder Sandhu. It's not like the fallen premiums like McDermott, Maxwell, Philippi. I can't even think of anyone else. Even I think Curran is sort of underpriced. I think he started seasons at 210, 220 when he was actually playing full time for the Sixers. So there's that. So I just don't think there's that much value in Gurinder Sandhu, and it's actually loaded. I thought it was going to stop on me again. Alex Hales, I think, is sort of similar as well. I don't know if I think he's going to be there for the start, but then goes away mid-season to do his other leagues, etc. I'm pretty sure, could be wrong about that, but that's just a hunch I have with a lot of these international players, is that they'll be away for some point, and there's not many international players that will be there for the whole duration of the comp. So Alex Hales has shown that he can do it before, and if he is going to line up for those doubles, it could be actually interesting, as we've seen in 2021. We averaged 58, which was a really good year, and the year before that averaged 56. So you might want to look at him in those doubles. If you look at, here we go, in round 4, the doubles, he averages 35 against the Heat and 49 against the Sixers. And then if he is there for round 9, he averages 73 against the Melbourne Renegades and 48 against the Strikers. But at least we get a good look at him for a couple rounds before we actually decide to pull the trigger if we want Alex Hales if he's performing really, really well. So we'll just wait and see on that one. But yeah, you can see he does really well against the Hobart and Melbourne Renegades, it seems. Next up, David Warner, and he's going to be there for 2 games, whatever, 2-3 games once the season wraps up, the test matches wrap up against Pakistan in his farewell game. So we'll probably see more of him next year, but this year 125k, just not going to go for it, to be honest with you. And played last year 73 at an average of 14 or whatever through 5 games. So yeah, really just showed that he didn't have a really good season at all, and I think he's back to better form, especially on the international circuit. But we'll see if he can do it in the domestic circuit. But it's really going to be a next year for him. Hopefully he has another bad year, so he's priced at minimum next year playing all the games, because he could be huge at 80k next year. Ollie Davies is one that will play all the games, in my opinion, and I think he could be one but he averages 0.8 against the Sixers in 4 games. That is, I've never seen an average that low, but obviously he gets 2 bites of the cherry just to get some actual points against the Sixers. To get that above 0.8, he averages shockingly against Melbourne Stars with 7 in 3 games. But does pretty well against Perth, averages 60 somehow against them, and does well against Hobart. But I think this will be a season where he starts to break out, as he had 37 last year, and the year before that had 16. So I think he can easily break out here and get a 40, 45 here. But that's depending on if he can just get to the 20, which he should be able to. But as you can see here, just some low scores, and yeah, against the Sixers here, a 2, and he played the Sixers, I believe, for a 0 as well, so didn't have a good year against the Sixers. And the Melbourne Renegades, the same thing, has a tendency to get out very, very cheaply in games. Next up, Sanger, and could be interesting depending on if he bowls or not, but at 113k could be interesting in the buy, but other than that, I don't think there'll be too much interest for him. Plays not the greatest averages you can see here, and isn't really a fallen premium, so not really tempted there. Zaman Khan, never seen him play, and as you can see by the stats, first year, so 105k will be interesting to see what type of player is, whether he's a dot ball bowler or a wicket taking. I believe he's a leg spinner. So we'll see what happens there. But at 105k, it's very dangerous to go off a guy that you have very limited knowledge of. So I'm not going to touch that area. And then you've got Matty Gilkes down here. And you can see, here we go, 101.6, average 32, or basically 33. That year, 33 and 0. And then what about the year before, 19? So it will be interesting. Obviously should get the gloves from Bancroft might get the gloves here, so Gilkes might not even play, so there's a risk there. So I potentially wouldn't be starting with Gilkes. Well, I wouldn't be starting with him generally because he plays the 1 game, but generally just because there's a selection risk, as we've been saying throughout the other recaps, probably not the best to go for the likes of Gilkes here. As you want just a guy that's going to definitely play. Next up, Alex Ross, and very similar, just sort of fallen off in the last couple of years as he gets a little bit older. And last year averaged 27 after 33, 34 the year before, 21, 36 and 28. And then in the 16, 17, 34. So as you can see, sort of that 20s to 30 guy, never going to really do much. Has that 1 game a year where he just scores runs. But outside of that, I don't think he's really going to be damaging that much. So I wouldn't be selecting him anyway. Then you have Tanveer Sangha, and this one is an interesting one. Some people have actually decided to pick him in their starting team. Well, not in their starting team. Well, their starting 16, is it? I wouldn't necessarily do that, as I think there's greater value in just going for a Melbourne Renegades or a double player on the bench, or a Swepson, who's less price and can easily jump Tanveer Sangha in 1 game. I mean, Tanveer Sangha's break-even is 27, so I mean, if he takes a couple wickets, that's there. But you have the like to Peter Siddle, who I believe has a break-even of 42, 43, which is literally just 1 wicket. as he should in 2 games. And Tanvir Sangha is basically, I would say you're going to need a wicket there to hit his break even. So if he goes none for, he's going to lose cash. But Siddle just needs 1 wicket in 2 games to get there, as he's going to get probably 16 points in dot balls, and potentially an economy rate bonus of 5, 10, 15, which will get him there. And then a wicket would get him close enough to 50, which would be about a gain of 2 or 3k. So Siddle, if he takes 5 or so wickets across the 2 games, which could happen just because he's Peter Siddle, he'd get the economy rate bonus as well as dot balls, so that could potentially get him 100 across 2 games, and 100 across 2 games would see him rise by potentially 10k, which would cover off Tanvir Sangha basically already, as well as giving him an extremely low break even for the next set of games. Or wait, 5 wickets in itself would be about a 140, so I would say even 3 wickets across the 2 games would probably get him 100. So yeah, you just see that there's a great potential for players with doubles just to combine 1 or 2 average performances, and that gets them a huge potential price change. Then finally break Nikitaris here at basement price 62.5k, and an interesting one. I don't think he's going to play, so I think he's just one where you can sort of bring in late in the piece. Him or 42.5kers and just have them sitting on the bench so that you have a captaincy loophole, even though we rarely use that. So that might be like a round 9 thing where you're just trying to clear all money off the bench. So you get like, you have a 100k guy on the bench or something like that, and you bring him down to a Blake Nikitaris or a 42k if there is any. Let me just check if there is any 42kers batting wise. And then we go lowest to highest somewhere here. Filters, season 2023-24, lowest price. You'll see you got Harry Dixon. So you'd be going Harry Dixon, Nikhil Chowdhury, Tom, those 2 first. And then if you look at also bowlers as well, you'll see you got Hamish Mackenzie and Ian Carlisle also there at 42k, which are just huge steals. And then for the wicket keepers, if you did do that, you'd probably be looking at Harry Nielsen, just because McDermott and Whiteman should be increasing in price, and I don't think Harry Nielsen will be increasing in price that dramatically. So you'd be looking at Harry Nielsen in the case that Whiteman's cash gen has gone enough, and you can get 30, 40, 50k out of that move quite easily, I think, in the first couple rounds. So there's that. But anyway, that pretty much wraps up the video. That was interrupted by I don't know if it was my Wi-Fi or just SuperCoach being slow, but anyway, so that video is going to have to be spliced together to create one whole video, this video. But anyway, that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the team preview 2.0 that will be coming out on Saturday. But anyway, I'll see you guys then. Bye, guys.